Mr. West!
Spartans! What is your profession?
Viscerally angry. But then, of course, you have this like amazing sort of public persecution of Superman within the context of the film that I find really fascinating. So, like, to bring the two of them at each other after these sort of psychological events, I think that was cool and fun, and also I think challenges the icons themselves a little bit.
Because one of the things I was always a bit kind of arm's length with in regards to Superman growing up was he was almost too perfect. He was almost. Is that something you've tried to turn on its head, try and show him as a flawed character?
Yeah, that's the knock always against Superman, that he's boring, right? Because he can do anything. And so, I felt like the way to kind of combat that was to sort of show really just the result of being a Boy Scout in some ways, like trying to do the right thing can also be like a disaster.
So here's a sort of slight potential spoiler of sorts, but I want to know why you decided to allow Batman to kill within this picture.
I tried to do it in that sort of technical way, right? There's a great YouTube video that shows all the kills in the Christopher Nolan movies, even though like we would perceive them as movies where he doesn't kill anyone. I think there's like 42 potential kills that Batman does, and it includes also it goes back and includes even the Tim Burton Batman movies where this reputation as a guy that doesn't kill comes from. So I tried to do it like by proxy. He'd shoot the car that they're in, the car would blow up, or the grenade would go off in the guy's hand or whatever, or he'd shoot the tank of the thing, and the guy pretty much lights his own tank with the thing. So I perceive it as not him killing directly, but by sort of, if the bad guys are associated with the thing that happens to blow up, that's not really. He would say that that's not really my problem. Like they shouldn't have been around that
sort of
machine gun. What's that?
It's like manslaughter.
Yeah, a little more like manslaughter than actual murder.
Yeah.
Although I would say, in the Frank Miller comic book that I reference, he kills all the time, right? Like he's constantly. There's a great shot. Basically the scene there's a scene taken from the graphic novel where he busts through the wall and he takes the guy's machine gun, and the guy's going, "I'll kill her, I promise, I swear it," and he's like, "I believe you." I took that little vignette from a scene in Dark Knight Returns. At the end of that, he shoots the guy right between the eyes with the machine gun, one shot. And of course, I went to the gas tank, and all of my guys that I worked with were like, "You gotta shoot him in the head," because they're all comic book dorks. And I was like, I'm not going to be that guy who does that.
Very quickly, I'm just wondering if you're going to explore the alternate future that the Flash was sending a message back from in this movie in the future.
Seems like a thing you really need to kind of find out what happens there, I think.
Cool. On that note, thank you so much for your time. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Yo, freaking yo. We got a good freaking show. Hold on a second. Gotta silence my phone. But yo, we are back in this bitch. Go Deep episode 116. I thought I silenced my phone, but I didn't. I just turned off the Wi-Fi like a dumbass. But Go Deep episode 1 freaking 16. I got my dog 44 in here. We pretty much talked about everything. We talked about Zack Snyder, of course. We talked about the Snyder Cut movement and everything surrounding it. 44 goes deep, so it's gonna be a great show. Grab your popcorn, tell your girlfriend to sit the fuck down and listen to this podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Y'all, my subscribers just slowing down. I don't know if fucking YouTube is shadow banning me or whatever, but I used to get like 50 subscribers a month, and now it's only down to like 20. So maybe because I haven't been doing it, but I don't know. If you haven't subscribed to this shit, subscribe to my channel right now, please. And you can always be up to date on the latest Go Deep podcast. And if you subscribe to my channel, I will teach you how to get your girlfriend a lot happier at home. I know these things. Yeah, bitch.
the city, I broke out the notch. Got some more millions that keep me a knot. I created history, it made me a lot. He tried to diss me and it don't false. We call them Chaucer cause they gonna chop. Took her out of filers cause her pussy pop. I run it like Nike, we got it on lock. Cardiac eye, I'm the boss man in a suit with no tie. I can't be sober, I gotta stay high. Put me some syrup in the can that's dry. Riding the special like Bunny and Clyde. Don't worry, baby, I keep me some fire. Shenanigans and burgers, she cannot decide. The ladies Mercedes will go to surprise. Don't sleep on Miss Lady, her pussy her pride. Digging her back while I'm gripping her side. Digging back, this ain't regular size. You really fly, we like pelican guys. Bitch, you ain't slick, I can tell her the sky. Good at my wrist, put her gas in the sky. She sing I might sign her and change her whole life. I told her to goggle and work on her eyes. Everything litty, I love when it's hot. Turned to the city, I broke out the notch. Got some more millions, I keep me a knot. I created history, it made me a lot. He tried to diss me and it don't false. We call them Chaucer cause they gonna chop. Took her out of filers cause her pussy pop. I run it like Nike, we got it on lock.
Cash, money, drink, cake, bread, bring them services.
I took the Billy Cool back in the hot in the Cayenne. I put this bitch in front of the Billy in front of the driver. And man, the shit that is weedy can't smoke in the road. Wow. Stepped up a cut up, I'm drinking, I shoot off the tires. I'm in the coupe by myself. I had that kicker though when I was fast. Key the was on the shelf. Horses around in the fan. I'm sick and tired of these young niggas act like they fine and telling their lies. Acting like they the one created this and they get all this drip from my guys. Yeah, Cartier eyes, Cartier coke, Cartier the white, Cartier love, Cartier the die, Cartier spent buffalo on the side. Prison cut diamonds, they Cartier, yeah. Cartier bad for the Cartier thigh. Sky Wrangler cool with 200 the dash. Cartier jeans, ain't no way I can say. Ain't no way I'm ever gon' go out. Man, I can't go out, no way I'm gon' go out. I just grip on her ass and I show out. I sit like a chump and I wait on her whole lot. I just whip up a new Chanel paddock. I whip with the bricks and I don't break the door out. Turn the whole top floor to a whole house. 100 racks and 1, 2 bought the flood out.
Something 116, I think. Corey, what's going on, dog?
Shit, chilling. I was actually just watching a little bit of TV. Not really. I was just bullshitting on my phone in front of my TV. So just doing a little bit of relaxing since I just got off work. You know.
Yeah. How was work today?
It was. Well, it was easy, honestly. I just didn't want to be there because I was tired as hell. I had to fucking come in the morning, so I was like, fuck that shit.
That's what's up. Well, let me introduce you. I got my dog, episode 116 right now. I got 44 Magnum and his crazy ass in here this evening. How's it going, man?
Yeah, it's actually pretty good evening so far.
How's life in New Jersey treating
you? You know, the weather's kind of weird, but same old shit.
Damn, did I just dox you, as they say?
I don't even know what that means.
It means when they give you documentation. I said you live in New Jersey.
oh yeah. I feel what you're saying. I'm not good.
Yeah, I don't get
I have no problem. People know. They know. Nothing wrong with New Jersey. It's a great state.
No, the 40 Club jumped on me one time when I said that Edgy lived in Australia. They were like, "Oh yeah, you doxed him." I'm like, "Bitch, I don't give a fuck."
Damn, really? What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about whatever. Like, somebody's gonna go to Australia, a whole continent, and search for a fucking one dude. Whatever.
I hate to say it, that actually explains why that dude is so lame and such a weirdo. He's all the way over there in Australia and shit, probably lonely as hell. Imagine how it feels to be a lame in Australia.
Yeah, that shit gotta suck, dog.
You would be like, imagine how it feels to be a lame ass internet troll from Australia. You probably had nothing to do over there. Probably kicking it with some kangaroos.
Yeah. So what do you think about that little crew, that little weird ass internet troll crew that's been trolling the Snyder Cut movement? What do you think about them?
To be honest, I don't even really have a good grasp on who these motherfuckers are. Like I try to keep up, but like I definitely know Edgy for fact. But all the other trolls and everything is like, it seems like they just come and go because their accounts get pulled so fast that I feel like it could be the same person. It could be just a group of people.
Right.
You feel what I mean? Like, obviously there's people that, that troll full time,
right.
That got big accounts and all that shit. So, but I guess we're not talking about them. You're talking about more of the extreme trolls.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like people like that, like they're bored. You feel me? They don't got nothing going on.
Right.
In their own life, you feel me? And I don't want to say there's nothing special about us, but it's like, I feel like if it's not us, it's gonna be Star Wars fans. If it's not us, it's gonna be MCU fans. Like,
right.
Those types, they just like trolling like big groups online just to get reactions and then I guess chuckle for a little bit in their basement.
Right. Right.
You feel me? And then they just get their accounts pulled and then just rinse, wash, repeat. You feel me? Like, right, that's really honestly really what I think it comes down to. It's like you have an addiction or some shit. It's like a quick thrill for them.
Wow. So you don't think it's a bigger agenda of them trolling us for some reason?
Oh yeah, I think there's a bigger agenda past those type of people, but when it comes to those type of people specifically, yeah, because trolls will be trolls. You feel what I mean? When it comes to those lower level people specifically that will just troll mad hard for no good reason, I just think they're just low lives. Like, yeah, you're probably low lives, have nothing going on. Obviously, they're haters. They see that it's beneficial to hate.
Right.
You feel me? On the Snyder movement, so so they hate on that. Right. Pretty much. Right. And then up the scale, there's bigger people because I focus more on like real haters, like journalists, bloggers. You feel me? Like
right.
People that try to spin the narrative for their fitting, because that's pretty much what the big thing is nowadays. I feel like everybody like they say nowadays in the modern age, it's no longer the truth, it's your truth or my truth, and all this. Exactly. All these different fucking versions of the truth is complete bullshit. Like everybody feels like they can just push their narrative from wherever the fuck they sit, I guess. And they can just ignore facts and ignore events,
right,
and things like that. And just push whatever perspective that they believe is correct. Right. And all the power to them, but the more and more I feel like, you feel me, like everybody's turning into a fucking news anchor. Right. You feel what I mean? All these comic book geeks people, like they're just like, you feel what I mean, the G4 people that used to come on TV back in the day. Right. You feel me? They just push their own narrative bullshit. They don't use anything to back it up. They push what they like and then they keep it pushing past that. You feel me?
Do you think we're winning? Do you think we're beating the bloggers and shit like that? Or do you think they have a big impact still?
I think I wouldn't. Yeah, I would say that we're winning slowly but surely, because they don't have pretty much much trust. Like a lot of like YouTube vloggers and journalists and bloggers. You feel me? Even some of people's favorite vloggers, even on YouTube and everything, they don't. And when it comes to a collective, they don't really have the trust of the masses like that because like they'll switch it up. They'll switch it up real fast. It's like even perfect example. There's even that dude Mario Robles.
Yeah, I thought his name was Robles.
I don't give a fuck. Like the only Mario I respect is the Super Mario. So. Yeah. With that being said, you feel me? This guy, he backpedaled all the way back to the moon. Right. All this time he's complaining about tone, along with all the other journalists and vloggers like, oh man. And mind you, keep in mind through all this, everyone's saying, oh man, it's not Cavill, it's not Affleck, right? It's not Wonder Woman. All those things were great. The characters were great. The story was too dark. Everything was so dark. The tone, like, you feel me? Right. You know, now that it's not the tone, they want to switch it up and just say, oh, it was the characteristics now. Obviously, the characters didn't work. Right. And that's exactly what I mean by this is like they're always just they're never gonna admit fault. They're just always gonna try to find a new positioning. You feel what I mean? The best positioning to make them look the least stupid.
Right. So tell me this: do you think it's like a little predetermined agenda for what they say? Like, remember everybody was talking about the Martha shit, and then it was too dark, and you know, it's always something.
What I think people need to always keep in mind is that we have to exist above the bubble that we are congregating in. Mm. What do I mean by that? Like the bubble in this analogy that I'm saying is pretty much, the comic book spectrum and the comic book movie spectrum that we exist in as far as the entertainment side of things. Right. And the people that, that cover this stuff, that write articles about this stuff, that make videos about this stuff. But we have to keep in mind that these people are not as in the know as you think. They're nowhere in the know. Right. They don't know damn near anything. Right. They're not that special. They're not that high up the food chain. Right. You feel me? There's a bubble that, like I said, that we are now going to start looking at from the outside looking in is just one little small part of what exists in the entire spectrum of what is the film bubble. Right. Of the entire everything film.
Correct. You feel what I mean? It's not the whole world.
So what they try to do is the people in that bubble, they try to keep pretty much all the fans of all that stuff, all the supporters, all the fans, all the people that kind of just like it, all the people that talk about it in that one bubble, just all arguing amongst themselves, and we're all getting fed bullshit by the people that are designated to give us info. You feel what I mean? Correct. That we're supposed to follow, correct. Even though these people have no stain in the industry, they have no knowledge. Half of them are just people on their fucking couches making videos. Another half of them is fucking working at fucking rag fucking news outlets that are gonna be fucking down under within like the next 5 or 10 years. You never know. Like half of these fucking motherfuckers that are writing for you right now are gonna be gone. Mm-hmm. Batman on film probably be gone in like less than 5 years. And a lot of them, they ran all of them. Come on, man. Stop playing. You feel me? Like, you guys don't have that much pull like that in the industry. The only thing that's keeping them alive is the fact that we're living in the comic movie era. Right. You feel me? So once you understand that, you'll understand who's feeding you bullshit and why. Right. And what their benefit is for doing this. Right. Like, they're trying to just keep you in that bubble and keep you thinking. Just like perfect example is like, all right, outside the bubble, there could be some actual rumblings about the Snyder Cut, people talking about it and everything, people, rubbing their chins about it like, But inside the bubble, they're going to tell you, they've been telling you it doesn't exist. Right. Don't stop talking about it. Don't worry about it. Blah, 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 blah. And this is what they're telling to the people who are inside the bubble, the comic book fans and all that only fucking listen to these motherfuckers. Right. Right. They don't listen to other motherfuckers. They're inside this bubble like fucking Thunderdome. Right. You feel me? Captain America and fucking Thor and fucking Superman's there and all the comic book characters you could think of is there. Just fucking everything's awesome over there in this Thunderdome where they're feeding you all this bullshit. And in this Thunderdome, they're just screaming, the Snyder Cut's not real.
Right.
You feel me? Everybody's going with it because like, wait, why shouldn't we go? We were in the Thunderdome, right? Everything of know and everything that we should know about anything comic book is right here because we're here. Wrong.
Right.
That's not true. Because as soon as an article gets written by some place like Variety or Deadline about some shit that none of these motherfuckers knew, they look stupid. You know what I mean? All y'all look stupid in that bubble.
Correct.
Y'all be sitting here celebrating like, oh man, they're about to make another solo Hulk movie.
Right.
It's coming out. Yeah, look, we got the rumors, we got the scoops. We pretty much already know, man. It's a done deal.
Right.
Deadline dropped an article. Yeah, we're making a She-Hulk movie.
Right. And then they look stupid.
And all y'all look stupid. You feel what I mean? Like, y'all don't know nothing.
Right.
like you like these guys that are giving you this info are damn near on the same level as you, damn near.
Right. Definitely.
They're just designated and given that spot because it's like, hey, you like comics and all this shit. You actually care about this shit and want to tell these motherfuckers this shit. Cool. Why don't you do it?
Right.
Like you realize how they're coming at it at this point. Even like another example is like Boss Logic. Like, you know how many fucking great fucking graphic designers probably is on this planet Earth right now?
Right.
Now think about how many of them want to waste their time making fucking posters for Marvel for free.
Right. Correct.
So they see this guy doing it. He's like one of the only motherfuckers doing it out the millions. Who cares how talented he is? And they're like, hey, why not? You want some money? You can just make the posters for us. Like, so you're just gonna do it for no reason.
Right.
Anyway. No one else wants to do the shit.
Right.
You feel what I mean? Like you're literally the only one that you know what I mean? It's like it's shit like that. It's not on some shit like I was like, oh man, this guy is like the best designer we can get.
Right.
You feel what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
These fucking Marvel posters.
So it's like
he's the best. Like, no, he's the only nigga doing it.
Right. So it's like a made up little world that we all live in and we're all going, but it's like that with everything. Like think about sports. You know, they're like, you know, Tom Brady is the greatest in the world, but he's only that because we make him that. You know, he's probably like a little geek outside, you know, but he's really rich. But it's always like that. We build our own heroes and, you know, journalists and everything, and we make them to be the best, or we make them to be the greatest platform in the world.
No, you're making great points up to a point.
Right.
The fact that this bubble that we're in is still growing. It's still new. Mm-hmm. This thing could pop at any second. You feel what I mean? Like that. I'm positive that we even had this conversation before about how the people that they even put up there to run this shit, to run the bubble. Let's say, you feel me? To actually be the controllers of the bubble, gatekeepers of the bubble, are not qualified to be doing this shit compared to the people that are fucking raving inside the bubble.
Exactly.
A random person a random girl that's dressed like Wonder Woman just raving inside the bubble, and she would have more qualifications than the motherfucker giving you info. Exactly. Because she's more in the know what's actually going on in the industry and all that, because she actually follows it, because she's probably some super fan or something.
Right. So
you don't know how far her knowledge goes. A lot of these people are people that just got maybe a journalist degree, and it was like, fuck that. I guess the only job I can get is talking about comic books. Why not?
Right, and it's not even a journalist degree anymore. Look at fucking Garza. Like, he's a car salesman. And
that's what I'm saying. But there's people been doing it like him too, and being like, fuck it, I can just jump into this shit. Why not?
Right.
You know, they made whole YouTube channels that made millions and millions of dollars off this stuff. Right. Just regurgitating clickbait bullshit, talking about comic book shit.
Right. So how do we get past it? What do we do? Or how do you get past it? Because I talk to you almost every day, so it's like, I know you don't really believe the bullshit going on in this little bubble that we got going, but how do you see through it?
Well, I see through it by trying my best not to exist in it.
Oh, wow. Okay. So 44 don't exist, huh?
Yeah, that's the best way I see it. It's like you can't really exist in it for too long, and because then that's when your perspective will change. You'll start getting those blinders on, And like I said, you'll lose that outside looking in perspective, and you need that.
Right.
You know, you definitely need that, especially even when coming into fandom and things like this, even in your own life. That how do you think people turn into fucking shills?
Right, right.
Because they just to keep going with that now, they just delve too deep into the rave and shit. And the next time you see this guy, you feel me, he's dressed like Thor and Hulk and all this other madness, and he has some weird stuff on his face, and it's like, dude, where have you been, man? And then he's like, oh man, I love all comic book everything, man. Everything is awesome, blah blah. It's like, all right, man, I'm about to go over here and watch Godfather.
Right.
It's like that shit happens with people where you kind of go too OD with it, and you do have to look from different perspectives to actually realize how you can get the better of it. And I feel like that's what a lot of people in the movement pretty much have been doing. And one thing that is by catching on to narratives before they even blossom and shitting on them.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
That's one thing I feel like the movement is good at as a whole. You feel me? And us as individuals as well. Because since we all have to exist in this bubble, since we're all doing this, we're all still keeping track of, you feel me, what's going on in it. So every time we're sitting here, you know, bopping our head, chilling, just smoking, talking, chopping it up, and then, you know, all the random Thunderdome rape shit's going down, and then some random, you feel what I mean, journal comes out of nowhere from the sky and screams like, Snyder Cut's not real, you feel me? Then
right.
on our average rate, it was like nothing would happen. And then one of us is there like, oh, he's talking some bullshit. That shit is real.
Right.
And then the rape keeps going.
Right.
And then, you know, and then we keep doing that. And then more and more of us keep doing that. So every time they're still saying their bullshit around us, and we're not really saying much to all the other bullshit they're saying, because they're saying they're talking about Batwoman, they're talking about Brie Larson, they're talking about, you feel me, thousands of Marvel movies, and Vin Diesel just came out with Bloodshot trailer and shit, actually, you know, talking about a lot of shit.
Right.
But you feel me, we're keeping up on the things that we need to keep up on. So you feel me, once they say some bullshit against the narrative that we're trying to push, we're on that shit. And I feel like that's what's important to a degree. You feel me? But I also believe that when the Snyder Cut news probably really does hit, it's probably going to come from outside the bubble.
Right.
Let's be honest. Like we might get some rumblings. You feel me? Inside of it, but I feel like when it really does hit, it's gonna be from outside the bubble, and then it's gonna be another situation of everybody inside the bubble looking stupid.
Right.
And then here comes the Snyder Cut. You feel me? To swoop in the bubble. You feel me? It's about to fuck up the whole Thunderdome.
Right.
Like, and that's how I envision it. Like.
Right. So, okay, I get that. So now, where would this movement be without us, without the Spartans? Where would it be without the Parademons? Where do you think would be going on right now?
I guess that question is like, where would it be without, you know, pretty much all of us, in a sense, so, you know, that actually cared about it.
Right. Because no, I asked because
it would be pretty much nowhere, to be honest. Like,
right.
I do think it really did take the effort of a lot of people that, you know, not only, you know, just was willing to, you know, keep this alive and talk about this for all this time, but also the people past that, you feel what I mean, that went above and beyond, you feel me?
Right. No,
you know, like, I really do think it comes down to, you feel me, you know, the passion, you feel me, of all of us as individuals, like.
Right.
In reality, like, because it could have been any group of people about anything, but I think it was the perfect mix. Like, you know, I think it was, and for better or worse, because, you know, like, it was a tragic situation about, you know, with what happened and everything and the things that happened after that.
Right.
Like, you know, I'm not going to make everybody relive it, you know, and explain it. So, you know, I'm pretty sure we all know, but.
Right.
No,
what I mean
I do think it was a good mix, though, of what brought us all together.
Right. Okay. But what I mean is, like, we got the blue checks, we got the bloggers, we got some of these little trolls that's trying to take the movement down every day. Every single day. Like, if we wasn't here to defend that, do you think Snyder's name would still be big or still be popping like it is? Or do you think the trolls and the blue checks would have won by now?
I say I don't think they would have won at all. I actually think that we benefited Snyder's name
Right.
in the long run.
Who?
But
Us or the
I
trolls?
think that us and the movement as a whole, and
Right.
not all the people that did bullshit. You feel me? Because there was some shit we had to clean up. But you know what I mean. But,
right.
But I also think that even without this, I still think Snyder's name probably would have just stayed afloat where it was at before. I don't think they would have still been able to take him down.
Nice.
Because Snyder was still solid even before then. This wasn't the first time people tried to come at his neck. And what I believe would have probably happened is like he probably would have done like Director 101. You feel me? He probably would have kept his head low for a little bit, just went to make Army of the Dead.
Right.
You feel me? Would have just bounced back again. He just came back. I wouldn't even say bounce back. He would have literally just came back again. He was on some wild project that nobody would saw coming. You feel what I mean? And then they would just have to deal with him again. I think was getting on their nerves now was the fact that he has this extra weight.
Right.
And I think that as they call them, the blue checks, journos, and whatever. I do think they're worried about like his real next move as far as what it is. I do think that they're worried about the Snyder Cut coming out because it make them all look stupid.
Right.
They're worried about this stuff. Like I do.
Right.
Personally, like.
Okay.
So and if it all goes to his benefit, it would only make the legend grander.
Right. What I'm getting at is, so you remember how when BVS came out, all the bloggers and all the MCU retards and all these people like that, they kept saying, all these complaints that made Warner Brothers kind of switch up their flow to try to keep up with the complaints or whatever. But now, like with Joker, these guys tried to come out and make the same complaints, but it didn't work. Before with Snyder, it worked. But what I'm trying to say is, do you think it didn't work because Warner Brothers learned from their mistakes, or we're overpowering now?
I think it didn't work because the populace as a whole is onto this shit right now. And like, even I'll be honest with this too. I think that a lot of people, like a lot of comic book YouTubers, journals, vloggers, whatever you want to call them, let's leave the journals out, but the vloggers and the bloggers and everything, I think that a lot of them, and I'm not going to say no names or no brands or anything, but I think that a lot of them don't want to even admit that they fell for the sham on Snyder early on because people didn't see through it yet.
Right.
You feel what I mean?
Right.
A lot of people outside of people like us didn't see through it yet.
Right.
You feel me? The Snyder thing kind of happened so early on before such a wave of movies that they just tried to shove. Like after BVS, it was like a fistful of comic book movies that they just shut, and TV shows they shoved down our throats, and they said, "Watch it and accept it, and you're gonna love all of it."
Right.
And it was just a wave, you feel me? And we all couldn't stop it. And it was kind of weird because it really did kind of even tick off. Like right after BVS came out, it was just doom, 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 doom. And then people kind of started to see like, all right, some of these films are trash. I'm paraphrasing obviously what happened. Like, some of these films are trash, but they're saying the majority of them are great.
Right.
These Marvel movies are like McDonald's. Like we know what happened.
Right.
But I think before all that, I think Snyder was one of the earliest takes down, if not the earliest. And I think that people don't even really want to admit that when the media came for him, a lot of people that that were supposed to be on the comic book side of things that were actually should have stood up for him rode with the media.
Right. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's changing now though.
Yeah, exactly. And that shit drove things overboard. Right. And that's why I said I'm not gonna say any names or brands or anything. There's a few y'all could probably think of it because y'all watch the shit too. So there was a lot of people that try to bang on this like, oh, I'm comic book guy shit. You feel me?
Right.
That was shitting on BVS, shitting on Snyder and all this shit, making it seem like he makes the worst CVMs ever, as if Marvel isn't shoving fucking McNuggets down our throats with their. So yeah, like let's be honest, and And that's why you see now in the future people are softening up, but I still don't think a lot of people would admit even that first time where it was like, gotcha, because a lot of people fell for that shit.
Right.
And then when other movies started coming out, it was like, people are still falling for it. It wasn't until everything started getting SJW and all this other stuff, you feel me, that people started actually acknowledging that, you feel me, that y'all were getting fed garbage.
Right.
And y'all were letting actually not only good CBNs just get flushed down the toilet. You feel what I mean? But you were letting creativity get flushed down the toilet, and even any risk taking in these films were just being wiped away. You feel me? All the way up until the point of, like, I guess you can say when Brie Larson came around and all that stuff. So you feel me? And Marvel started changing in a way that their fans didn't like it.
Right.
You know, like.
So tell me this.
That's why I always say that you have to kind of keep in mind that DC fans, we are fat. You feel me? We got kind of fat back in the day while everybody starved. They complained about little shit. We're over here arguing about, you feel me, the intellectual level of these films, and you feel what I mean, tones and the structure, you feel what I mean, and what we're actually gonna get out of them.
Right.
You feel what I mean? Whereas, you feel me, they're kind of on some infantile shit. You feel me? Like, I still think that the DCEU family still hasn't even went through or even a phase where we even went hard about anything SJW, anything like that. It's really always about, like, all right, this shit better not be no kiddie bullshit. It better be this film. That's what it comes down to. That's all we care about. Like, the majority. So I think that's where things started to change up, because they started to change. Like, a lot of the people outside of, you feel me, of the people we rock with, and, you know, the DC fan base changed. Right. You feel me? But we were still on our side, still arguing over, we don't want this kiddie ass shit. We don't like Shazam. Right. You feel me? Aquaman was alright, but this shit could have been better. What the fuck was Justice League? You made some Super Friend shit. You feel me? This is what the whole thing was always about. You feel me? They didn't like that shit over there on the other side. But as soon as it started turning into some shit that they don't like, now it's encompassing the whole thing. Right. Like, now it's a whole issue of, like, oh yeah, now they're controlling the media and skewing everything and making us watch things that are mediocre. Like, no, duh. They've been doing that since the first Thor movie.
Right. We've been saying that.
We've been saying that. Exactly. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? That's why, like, you feel me? Like, it's getting closer, but in a weird way, the gap is kind of still widening in a way. Right. Like, okay. Because there's animosity and contempt and shit. Like, right. I feel like.
So, who was feeding us the bullshit narratives? Who was that big?
Well, first we gotta go off all the comic book, you feel what I mean, article sites, whatever you want to call all the comic news sites. Right. People have to admit, you feel me, and that's why people been going in, and that's why people go in on them. You feel me? Because in a sense, subconsciously people know this shit. Some people, and then when I say subconsciously, I mean as a hive mind on the internet. Right. We all know this shit. And some of us as individuals attack these bastards for being the cheap shit that they are. Right. So was it Disney? A lot of people still read this stuff. A lot of people still click it and think, like, well, they must know about all the comic book stuff because they know. So if they say 1, 2, 3, then they must be right. You know, so
was it Disney and then feeding them?
Below that, it's like vloggers. Like I said, YouTube vloggers who make it their life and mission, you feel what I mean, to talk about anything pop culture. Because, you know, they grew up with everything. Right. Like, you know, they grew up with everything, so they make their life, you know, just pop culture everything. And, like, they tell you this, that, and the third. And they tell you this because, you know, I have 20 years of knowledge, 30 years of knowledge. I saw Star Wars when it came out in theaters. I have the first Superman comic. All this stupid-ass, dumb, as people would say, gatekeeper shit. You feel me? But even past that, people listen to those people too. You feel me? Which, you know, to each their own. You feel me? Some of those people are cool. Some of those people are actually cool as hell. Right. You know, but then past that, you feel what I mean? There goes to more, you know, more of the scum. You feel what I mean? The haters. You feel the people that just like to push, like, you know, negativity, just the negative side of pop culture things. I hate this. I hate that. This is whack. Not my Superman type motherfuckers. Right. You feel what I mean? But those are that loud minority, like, there's a lot of categories of these motherfuckers that like that kind of goes down to the lowest individual of why of what what we even have to go up against.
Right.
Like
that's
in a
what
way,
I'm
like,
saying. That's
if it wasn't for us in a sense, like it could, like they would have just labeled Man of Steel, BVS, JL trash. Nobody would have cared what happened. And then it probably would, years down the line, for people to appreciate these first two films and wonder what happened to the third film.
Right.
Like, you know, let's be honest. Like they were totally willing to bury this shit.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Willing to bury this shit and bring on Christopher Reeve Superman.
That's what I'm saying. So the bloggers didn't do that. It had to be somebody bigger than bloggers. It had to be somebody bigger than internet crowd, right?
Yeah, I look at it at all. I look at it at all levels, man. I think people like WB were in on it. I think the filmmakers that are working on, some of the filmmakers that are working on the DCEU were in on it. Even maybe filmmakers that were on their way in. I think that, you feel what I mean, people that, you know, are big in the vlogger sphere, in the journal sphere, were in on this.
Right.
You know, I think there a lot of people were in on this, and I think obviously when it comes down to the peon peasant level, you know, certain groups of fans and people were happy enough to rip down DC early before, you know, Marvel, before it had a chance to, you feel me, catch up to Marvel. Like, right. And that's why I want people to kind of always keep in mind too, is that there is a fear of DC. You feel what I mean? Correct. Like, everybody knows DC always makes good movies.
Correct.
Disney knew that. Marvel knows that.
Right.
When DC came back around, like when Marvel was on his way up, DC was coming back around towards that next cycle of we're about to fuck you up. Right. You feel what I mean? Like, the Nolan trilogy just ended. A few years went by. Motherfuckers were chilling, giving Nolan mad blowjobs. You feel what I mean? Like, Man of Steel came out. She was pretty great. You feel me? Right. They were just chilling. You feel what I mean? Like they were literally going just the regular DC shit. Like Batman trilogy ended. We're about to start it over again. What new movies can we make?
Correct.
You got tired over here.
Right.
Marvel was scared. These motherfuckers were scared. You feel me? They knew once that shit came back around and things like BVS and JL started coming out and DC Films is actually in full swing again, where they're like, all right, DC is dropping movies again.
Right.
They're about to get destroyed.
Right. Now we talking.
They damn near did.
Right. Now we talking.
It took so much propaganda to save them.
Right. Now we talking. Now we done been running around this bush, but now we here, dog. So check this out. But now check this out. It's coming out now. You see you see Martin Scorsese, you see Francis Ford Coppola.
And people wonder why these guys are coming out saying this, because this needs to be said now. Mm-hmm. Clearly, y'all weren't listening to all the other motherfuckers saying this shit, even like dudes like James Cameron.
Exactly.
All right, so it's time for people that are actually respected in the industry to come out and shit on this shit now.
Now we talking.
You're not listening to your dad. You're not listening to your best friend. You're not listening to the dude on TV. You're not listening to that. You're not listening to the people on the internet.
Right.
Not listening to nobody telling you that this shit is garbage. Like, right. Well, we just got the dude who made Godfather to tell you once and for all, this shit is garbage. How many times we gotta tell you that was just a stamp, man? Like I know a stamp when I see it. They were probably talking about this, rumbling about this, like, yeah, we about to shit on Marvel. Who we about to get to do it? Oh man, shit, we about to get Coppola. Coppola said he gonna do it. Yeah, he about to do it, bro. He about to go on record. Like, I'm trying to tell you, bro. It was a stamp. It's over with this shit.
I agree.
People are tired of this shit. We're tired of the propaganda. We're tired of y'all motherfuckers putting out this garbage and making shit seem like the hottest shit ever. You feel me? Then when that hot movie comes out, y'all say this shit is whack.
Right.
You feel what I mean? We're tired of you. I'm tired of you giving these motherfuckers money, period. We got to turn Robert Downey Jr. into the highest paid dude in Hollywood. For what? He sucks. There was a reason why they kicked him out of Hollywood the first time. Man, like, y'all letting all this bullshit slide. It's like, the way I see it is like, this shit does need to come to an end. You feel me? Even if they do need to put some DC films on hold for a second. Right. Because this shit is getting out of fucking hand how they're just pushing it. They're going to be pushing DC films, how they're pushing Marvel films, and they need to put that shit on hold.
Right. Marvel is saturating it. Marvel is saturating it with the same bullshit Chicken McNugget over and over and over, you know?
Yeah, man.
Now we got 44. This is the 44 I wanted to talk to. This is the 44 I wanted to talk to. All right. So you know, now you got the Marvel guys trying to diss Francis Ford Coppola, trying to act like he's just the old man. He's not credible. This dude made The Godfather. He know what he's talking about, dog. You know? But he's not the only one. Everybody feels that these movies suck. The only people that like them are Marvel fans, you know?
Yep. Yeah. It really... One of my earliest film memories is actually the assassination of Sonny.
Oh, what?
I saw that when I was very young, and it definitely stuck with me. Crazy ass scene, obviously. I'm pretty sure a lot of us saw that.
Right.
You feel me? Immaculate scene. You feel me? Like amongst a whole movie that was a great film. You feel me? Like
Sonny got his ass shot the fuck up, bro.
Yeah, like and if you just want me to keep it simple for you, is like we can watch any movie after that, and you'll never watch a movie and you'll see a motherfucker get shot the fuck up like that.
Right? No, that whole movie is great, man. Can't nobody talk shit about Godfather.
That's just that.
Right.
And that's just an easy, like, can you compare to me a scene where a motherfucker got lit the fuck up on some wild shit? You feel me? That was comparative to that? No, you can't. And that was just a regular shoot 'em up scene.
Right.
That just let you know how good the film was, bro.
That was
the way that it went down. It was heartbreaking. Right. It was savage. You feel me?
Right.
They paused at the end, made you see him stinking there for a few seconds.
Right. Nah, that movie was
People
great,
have tried to copy that so many times and feel that no one can get that.
That movie was great. All three of them. I mean,
and you see these fucking Marvel fans coming out saying like, "Oh man, these guys don't matter."
Right.
But yeah, the guys that made the movies that they still play on fucking network television, so these motherfuckers can still keep the lights on.
Exactly.
AMC wouldn't even be a network if they couldn't play Godfather on repeat until fucking Breaking Bad and The Walking Dead came out.
Right. So tell me this. Do you think it's going to get worse? Do you think more people are going to start saying? Because remember, Tom
it's going to get worse, man, because it's been a decade. They got their run. It's almost like hip hop or the presidency.
Right. You
got your run. We gave you respect. You feel me? Now you're about to go in on you. Right. You feel me? Like, and then if they can make it through motherfuckers going in on them, then they might falter. But the big thing, the people keep forgetting. That's why I say they try to move the pieces and everything. But Star Wars is owned by Disney too, and Star Wars is sitting right there next to Marvel.
Yep.
Star Wars at this point, you gotta look at Star Wars fans are Marvel fans at this point.
Right.
You feel what I mean? The old Star Wars fans are gone. You feel what I mean?
Right.
The new Star Wars fan is a hodgepodge of the MCU fan.
Right. I agree.
Like, so what you got to really keep your eye on is this new Star Wars movie.
Right.
What happened in this film is definitely going to show what's about to happen with these next Marvel films. And boy, people are worried about the next Star Wars film. But that's what I'm saying with this Disney shit and the way the media tried to work it. They try to make it seem like it's all just clearly connected, but they try to just make it seem like it's not connected. If motherfuckers go in on that next Star Wars movie, then you can just bet your ass that people are going to start frying Marvel movies after that. If motherfuckers are willing to go in, open as shown on a Star Wars movie,
right?
Then who gives a fuck about a Marvel movie at that point?
Right. You think they're gonna go? You think they're gonna go in on the Star Wars movie? You think they're gonna go in?
I think they're gonna go in on this next Star Wars movie. Like, I do. I think this one's gonna be a nuke bomb. You feel me? Like, and I've been talking to Kojay about this on the side. You feel me too? Like, and I think they've been waiting for this shit. Like, I think they're waiting. Like, I think that these old Star Wars fans and the whatever ones that they have left are waiting for that movie to hit theaters, and whatever's in that fucking movie, they're about to destroy Disney afterwards. So that's my opinion.
JJ,
I think there's already an attack being planned that has nothing to do with us. Like, and we're just gonna be over here watching this shit. Like, you feel what I mean? Like DC fans usually do.
Right. Who's directing it? It's not J.J. Abrams, is it?
Yeah, it's J.J. Abrams. Yeah.
Oh, so you think he's gonna make a bad movie, really?
The Force Awakens wasn't that good either.
Yeah,
Like,
it was decent.
Abrams is a good director, but J.J. Abrams is a bad storyteller, man.
Oh wow, yeah.
He pushes that mystery box stuff, and he's terrible at endings.
Right.
And this is the ending to Star Wars. Like,
Right. Well, Force Awakens was just like basically the original Star Wars. It was basically the same thing, you know?
exactly, and that's pretty. But like J.J. Abrams is good in a corporate sense. Like they want us to think that he's like really good, but J.J. is good at making them fucking money.
Right.
Like he knows how to go to a studio, tell them what to do, how we can milk this franchise and make this money, revamp this in a way where people will still come and see it, but will still be able to make mad money off the back end through merchandise and T-shirts and all this other shit. You know, same thing he did with Star Trek.
Right. Right.
So he did the same. He did the same thing with Star Wars. That's why they brought him on to do Star Wars. Like people think like these guys, like there's really talented filmmakers out here. Like they could have got some real talented to direct a new Star Wars film. Not to say and even what's so funny about that, like let's be honest, man. People were more hyped for a Zack Snyder Star Wars film than a J.J. Abrams one.
Exactly.
Even the rumors of Zack Snyder directing a Star Wars film was blowing shit through the roof because they know it's just like it's filmmaking style, man. Like Zack Snyder if he made a Star Wars film, he would destroy that shit.
It's like he's the perfect guy.
You don't gotta worry about a whack ending. Right. You don't gotta worry about it not being stylistic or him not trying to do nothing original. It's almost like it would be made for him in a sense, but the universe just didn't go in that direction. It just didn't, and obviously he wouldn't. That shit was over at Disney. He was at WB, but you see how they're trying to bring JJ over to WB now, and everyone thinking like, what's he gonna do? And he's probably gonna try to revamp the DCEU, and that's why I'm telling like what he's gonna do, because JJ's not I'm gonna come through and do some original ideas guy. I say I'm gonna come through, get the engine going, and run off guy.
Right.
Once the engine's going and shit, cause that's what he tried to do with Star Wars, and he had to come back. Why? Because Rian Johnson fucked it up. Right. But he really wanted to make the first Star Wars movie, Force Awakens, and then just run off into the sunset. Like, I made the first one. I gave you a storyline to go off of. Just follow it. And it didn't work, which is stupid because George Lucas gave him a storyline, and they didn't follow that. But that's a whole different thing. It's just so stupid. But either way, that's his thing. Like, you feel me? He be trying to set shit up and then run off. Like, but they fucked up because they handed it off to the wrong dude. He fucked it up, and then Disney's like, "Wait, hold up, you got to come back and fix this shit." Right. And that's the issue. Like,
I think Zack Snyder would be the perfect guy to make Star Wars.
Yeah, I think he'll make a great Star Wars film. I don't think he would work for Disney though. Right. But I'm not gonna never say never. You feel me? Because this is an industry. It is a business. Right. And if you offer them enough money and the right project, you never know what he'd be down to do. But there would have to be some dope ass Star Wars shit. I don't see him doing whack.
It gotta be a Darth Vader story.
Yeah, Darth Vader story would be hard. Like, I could see that.
So tell me this, what do you think about Jared Leto supposedly saying he didn't want them to do this new Joker movie? What do you think about those rumors?
I think it's being blown out of proportion. Like, I think that by them saying he tried to stop it is maybe him fucking sitting in a robe in his boxers making a few phone calls like, what the fuck? Like, I don't think he actually actively tried to stop it. Like, but do I think he was probably a little salty? Yeah.
Probably.
It's like, come on, stop paying. Like, people try to, like, these guys are movie star. He's a movie star, rock star, but these guys are actors and all this shit, and they're under contracts and all this shit. They're paid not to tell you the truth. Right. So, was he probably a little salty? Yeah. Like, and would you blame him? No. Right. But do I think he actively tried to get it shut down? And no, I think it might have really been a thing with his agent. I think his agent just played him probably, when it came down to that. And the studio was probably down with his agent paying him because, Joaquin Phoenix they probably just rolled together. Like, you feel me? They were trying to get Joaquin to do a DC movie or a Joker movie. Someone was trying to get Joaquin in a fucking comic book movie, and lo and behold, somehow Todd Phillips was able to convince this motherfucker to do it.
Yeah, I've been seeing like Joaquin Phoenix pictures of Joker for a few years now. I've been seeing a lot of like little headshots of him looking like Joker for a while.
Yeah.
Know?
Yeah, so I think that it's just something that just came together during a time that didn't benefit Jared Leto.
Right.
And
so what do you think? Do you think we'll see him again with Harley Quinn making all her movies? Do you think he got to show up eventually, right?
Possibly. It's strange because it's like WB is showing the shoulder to certain parts of the DCU where they're bigging up others, and it's really weird. So I don't know whether Jared Leto is a part that they think is salvageable. I do. I think it would make sense just to bring him back and, hopefully with something small, like, you feel me, maybe either a solo or like that Mad Love film they were talking about. But right. I can definitely see them just riding off into the sunset with Harley Quinn, like.
No, she's like his sidekick. Like, how the hell is a sidekick getting 2 movies and the Joker, the real Joker, is not getting... I don't know if that's going to happen because, she's talking so much. Her first movie is the emancipation, blah, 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 of Harley Quinn, whatever.
But that's what I think is weird about it, is the fact that they're talking that they broke up, and they're just skipping right over that. They're just skipping over that whole arc.
Right.
They're just letting you know that they're trying to get straight to solo Harley of when, like, they're skipping over everything. You feel me? Like,
right. But are they? Do you think they're gonna do a pump fake? Maybe you think they're gonna just act like they're skipping over, and he may show, some cameos in it, or they get back together because they got an up and down relationship anyway. She's never gonna get away from Joker, so why would they even set up a fucking? I don't think they're setting up a movie where she's actually gonna be away from Joker. I think it's just gonna be like some dramatic romance and eventually a future movie where they're back together doing their stupid crazy shit,
Yeah, it's possible. But I can see them also just skipping straight to Gotham City Sirens or something, because after this she's going to be back in Suicide Squad. So what are they going to do in Suicide Squad 2? Have Joker come save her again?
And then she got Gotham City Sirens, like you said. So it's like she got 3 movies coming out. She can't be away from Joker that long. I don't think so.
What I think is that I think that she wasn't ever supposed to break up with Joker. I think that Gotham City Sirens, which I'm pretty sure is supposed to be a David Ayer film,
right,
was probably supposed to be about the Gotham City Sirens, Catwoman, Ivy, but I don't think she was gonna break up with Joker up to that point. Right. I think this was supposed to go a little longer, because the way even Suicide Squad ended, and then for them to just throw that away completely, like they would have to explain it in the next film.
Right.
And if it's kind of just some cameo, just, like they did with Shazam, and Shazam with Superman, where it's just some faceless dude you don't even see, then I'm going to call that bullshit. And just say, like, yeah, they're probably going to move away from it. Like, but who knows at this point? Like, Jared Leto was a good actor.
Yeah.
He's still under contract from what I'm hearing. Like, so.
Yeah.
I don't want to get my hopes up is where I'm at.
Right.
Like, I would love to see it. I would have loved to see a Leto solo before this Joker film. Like,
right.
To me, this Joker film is just another film that's in line with what Nolan films. You feel me? Like,
right.
All right, it's cool for what it is, but it's still kind of just a watered down version of comics. And it is kind of even what Todd Phillips said, the dude who made the film. There's like, and over in America, in comic books they're Shakespearean. You feel what I mean?
You know what I would love to see though? Zack Snyder direct 3 Batman Ben Affleck movies.
Yeah, that would be dope.
That'll be crazy.
And that's what I mean. These are the things that they're keeping away from us.
With Jared Leto. You know? Or like maybe Zack Snyder and Ben Affleck co-direct, if that's even a possibility. I don't know. But I mean, like, come on, you know, have Jared Leto and Ben Affleck go back and forth. That shit will be fucking amazing, dog. That shit will be crazy. How are we not getting this, but we're getting fucking Gotham City Sirens, dog? That don't even make sense, dog.
I really think that it just came down to them. I think they really just did not want the Snyders to have all the power over, or that much power over, DC films, which they did. Like, and in a way, you can say that they kind of successfully found a way to let everybody do their own thing while still making it work into the films that Snyder was making and they were both producing. And when it comes down to, like, you know, how popular and like profitable these, you know, these properties are, you feel me? There was probably some filmmakers that were probably Saudi and other people that probably Saudi that probably felt like, oh yeah, I wouldn't do this and I wouldn't do that with, you know, the DC films, but Snyder's not going to let me do that because he's going to do his stuff and I want to do some whole bullshit. He's not going to make. I'm trying to tell you, like.
But it's so many stories, though. It's so many.
As soon as Snyder left, all these fucking lame duck filmmakers come out of nowhere, and they're talking about like they're going to revamp things and do. Now all of a sudden it's director driven and all. It's like, but the shit that they're talking about seems lame.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised. And remember, Snyder said that he had like a whole wall of shit of half the movies and everything, and how it connects to all that shit. Like, you feel me? Dude probably had control over all that shit. You feel me? Right. Damn near. You feel me? Like, so, there's probably gonna be no bullshit flying past him. and we already know this when it comes to people like Jeff Johns and everything. He was probably jealous as hell, you know, because you have Snyder, he has the whole wall. He can pretty much do whatever the fuck he wants with this shit over here. And then you're just some sniveling comic book dude in the background.
Yo,
like, you know.
So is Jeff Johns still writing for CW?
I don't know if he writes for CW, if he ever did. Oh. I never looked into it that deeply, but I know he does kind of work closely with Greg Berlanti with the CW shows.
Right.
Greg Berlanti also helps him with the DCU shows that come on the streaming service that are pretty much like R-rated CW shows.
Right, that's what I meant. So what I want to say is, you know how they're supposed to have like a Red Hood DC show or something. Red Hood fights Deathstroke. Did you see something about that the other day?
No.
I gotta find that.
That could be referencing Deathstroke being in Titan season 2.
I don't know where I saw that, but it kind of looks like the TV shows are trying to beat Zack Snyder at the stuff that he wanted to introduce, you know? It's like Jeff Johns. I don't know how close he is to the TV shows, but it seems like it seems like he's trying to do everything that Zack Snyder wanted to do. He's trying to do it first, you know?
Yeah, in a mediocre way.
Right.
I don't think it's necessarily that. I think it's that, like I said, you kind of look at these things like they're all toys. You feel what I mean?
Right.
I think that certain people wanted to play with these toys.
Right.
And they couldn't play with all the toys in the way that they wanted to because Zack Snyder had the majority of them. And on top of that, not only did he have like the main toys, like the whole Justice League, but he was about to start taking everybody else's toys. He was about to take Deathstroke and other characters and bring them into the DCU. And you feel what I mean? Once the characters hit screen, like hit film, then these lame duck ass TV motherfuckers can't be fucking with them like that. Right. I also think that's why even the Flash movie has been, you know, been kept being held up for so long. Because I think that the TV shows and the people on the TV show side has something to do with that. You feel me? And they were probably scared for a while that if a Flash movie comes out, then they're gonna undercut the Flash TV show. Like they make it seem to us like they're okay with this stuff, but behind the scenes, they're probably not okay with this stuff. Like, you know, there was probably gonna be a lot of even with like now we know Martian Manhunter was in Justice League for fact. You feel what I mean?
Right.
Martian Manhunter's on Supergirl.
Right. Right.
So a lot of characters, you feel what I mean? The important characters, you feel what I mean, that rightfully should have been used and introduced. You feel me? We're about to get their introduction into the official DCEU.
But now they're going into TV shows, right?
Yeah, and I think that they put a hold on that so they can take advantage of it in other avenues.
Right. Like you said, some people wanted to play with the toys, but they knew Zack Snyder was about to play with them.
Yeah. Yeah. And they was like I said, they was already mad because he was already playing with the best ones, you know. He had the whole Justice League over there. He was, you know, he's playing hard. He's over there with David Ayer and shit.
Right. Yo.
Shoot. These motherfuckers just mad.
So tell me this. Do you think, now let's get into the Snyder Cut. Do you think the rumors are true about him showing a new cut to the executives at Warner Brothers? What do you think about that?
I don't think it's a new cut if it is.
Right.
I think it's probably the same old cut that he had, but I think it's a possibility.
Right.
I think people just don't want to hop right on it because it's not everybody wants to be on it. We got this covered.
Right.
They're clipping, they lie.
Right.
But they got a few things right, but what do you expect there? They are a rumor mill, you feel me? So they are supposed to get things right and wrong all the time. Like
Right.
So with that being said, if it's coming through a rumor mill, I think that can have some possibilities, but with a grain of salt because it's a rumor. Do I know what type of cut it is and all that? I'll just take it on the surface level that Zack Snyder brought his cut, to WB. And let's say maybe that happened. There's a possibility of that happening. Yeah, I think it's possible that could have happened.
What do you think? You think we'll get to see it?
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think there's been a few quiet moments, during the whole run of this movement and everything, but with Army of the Dead coming out and things starting to bubble up, I think that we're probably going to start hearing more news, I would say, the next few months. That's what I think. Whether it be more rumors, more journals talking whatever they're going to talk. Zack Snyder will probably drop something else. And he did drop that image with Diana that said Darkseid, at the end of the story.
Right. Correct.
So, and that's why this is getting even better and more is bringing you even closer to the edge of your seat because it has been all this time and he is still talking about it. So
right, correct.
And he's making strong allusions. You feel me? People have to start thinking more in the sense of how is he's literally posting pics from the unreleased version of Justice League and he's talking about Darkseid.
Right.
While WB is supposedly, allegedly in full swing with, you feel what I mean? Whatever they're about to do with DC.
Right. Tell me this.
He's obviously rebelling in some senses, or maybe he even has more pull than we think.
Right. Yo, I saw the other day, I think John Salandria was talking to some people, and some people were saying there was a Robin flashback, and John was like, no, there wasn't a Robin flashback. Did I miss something? Was there a Robin flashback? I don't even remember. I tried to look over the conversation. I was like, I remember them showing the suit. I remember, but was there a deleted scene that came out with a Robin flashback that I just didn't catch or what?
No, I've never heard of seeing I never seen a Robin flashback. Oh, you mean Robin in the flesh?
Yeah.
No. That would be news to me.
Right.
The only thing I've seen of Robin that was outside of the film was his gravestone.
Right. Okay. In the suit.
Yeah, in the suit. but the suit was in the film, but the
Right,
bracelet
right, right.
wasn't in the film.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I got you. I just saw a picture of Robin, and then I remembered that some boys was having a little argument, and I was like, damn, I don't even fucking know. I gotta go watch this again. I don't know what they're talking about. But nah, if you don't know, then it didn't happen.
Yeah, from what I know with the whole Robin situation was that it's pretty much Dick Grayson.
Right.
And I also think that was one of the things that fans harped on about, was that with Robin being dead and it being Dick Grayson and everything. And I think they ended up moving. Well, WB kind of forced the retcon on BVS and ended up saying like, "Oh, it's Jason Todd," but that's actually supposed to be a Dick Grayson suit. So it's actually in the Snyderverse. It's actually up in the air whether if there was ever even a Jason Todd or a Tim Drake, or there might have only ever been one Robin.
Right. Okay. What do you think about? Remember those like conspiracy theories about Robin as Joker? Remember that?
That was early on. Yeah, that there were people talking about that before. I think Suicide Squad or BVS.
Right. What do you think about that? Because around that same time, they were saying the same stuff about Martian Manhunter was in the movie, and then it just comes out recently that shit was true. So maybe, what do you think? Give any credence that it might come out one day that Robin was Joker?
I think it could have been a possibility, but I think David Ayer said enough about Joker to let, to kind of give people hints that it wasn't Robin.
Okay.
Because he talked about Joker killing Robin, and he even referenced why Joker had the metal teeth in Suicide Squad. That's what I'm saying. There was a lot of things that were probably supposed to be in Suicide Squad.
You're right.
That were probably going to explain more things from BVS that we just didn't get.
You're right. I remember that. He said he got his teeth knocked out when he killed Robin. Batman knocked his teeth out, right?
Yeah, and David Ayer he stood by that. So
right. I remember that.
And there's also the deleted scene where Batman saves Harley Quinn, and he said this is like an extended scene where he says like a totally different line, and he says like, Joker took something from me, so I'm taking something from him. Right. And he pretty much brings her to Amanda Waller. So they were connecting this and setting it all up, saying like pretty much Batman was kind of getting his revenge,
right.
And he was still getting his revenge on Joker. Right. You feel me? Because of this in different ways. One of those ways he took Harley Quinn away from him. You feel me? But that was supposed to set up more of why Joker was even coming after her. Right. And why she was pretty much still Harley Quinn. You feel what I mean? Right. She's like, and she was still fucking with Joker mad hard because she didn't really probably want to go anywhere.
Damn, dog. I really, really, really wish we get to see these movies one day. And I really, really hope that they can just put their shit back together, dog. Like get the fuck away from Jeff Johns and all his stupid ass comic book movie ideas. Get away from that happy-go-lucky shit, and let's see what we started out with, because it was gonna be amazing, dog. I'm sure it was.
No, I agree. It was gonna be beyond amazing. That's what I think.
Fuck, dog.
I think that if he would have at least been able to get that Zack Snyder Justice League movie in theaters, then there would have been no stopping the ball.
Right.
And that's why I feel why Jeff Johns and everybody who did attack and rip apart the film when they did.
Right.
I feel like that's why they decided to strike when they did.
Right. Because it would have been the point of no return.
It was literally their last chance.
Exactly.
It was their last, and they couldn't let him just get his Justice League movie out there without any, you feel what I mean, without any combat.
Exactly.
And that's pretty much just throughout all the stops, really.
I agree. I definitely agree. Man, been a great conversation, dog. But we're at about 1 hour and 5 minutes, so I want you to give some shout outs and Anything else you got on your mind about the fandom that you want to say?
No, I think the fandom's in a good spot today. It was pretty chill today, so
Cool.
I want to give a shout out though to Lord Kojay.
Hell yeah.
Purdy. Jeff Purdy.
Hell yeah.
You know, Andy Well.
Hell yeah. Hamad.
Yeah, Hamad.
The fucking
Shout
pub.
out to B-Pass too.
Yep. Yo, I talked to him yesterday. He told me he wanted me to tell you he gonna hit you up, but he just had to step away from Twitter for a minute because that shit get too toxic.
Yeah, he ended up hitting me. We talked for a second.
All right, word. Gotcha.
So definitely shout out to him too, and yeah, shout out to Snyder Cut. Release the Snyder Cut, man.
Damn right.
Hope it's alive.
Hell yeah.
Even though the world is dark and gritty.
And that's what we like.
That's what we like, man. Hell yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. It's always good to talk to you. All the fans of my podcast, all the fans like you. Every time I mention 44, they're like, oh, fuck yeah, about time, 44, blah, blah, blah. So everybody loves you, Doug. I'm glad you give me a shout out. I'm glad
thank you, man. I love all them too. Love all y'all, man.
Yeah, Doug, you're a popular dude, man. And you speak the real. And you got that little New York slang, so it's all good, dog.
Well, I'm from Jersey, but I feel you.
Same old shit. It's the same shit.
But yeah, have a good night, man.
All right, you too, man. Hold it down.
Take care.
Peace.